Hello, responders. Welcome to our stream today, where we're going to be talking about a bunch of cool things. But before we get into there, I'm Jay. You can find me on Discord at TBSJ. I am No More Men Hell 2's community manager. With me today, I have Matt and Life. We'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll break down what you can expect to see today and what we'll be doing. Matt, would you care to start us off?
Sure. My name is Matt. The community knows me as Max. I ran the No More Room in Hell 1 team, and I am the narrative lead here at Torn Banner working on No More Room in Hell 2.
And Life.
Cool. Hi everyone, my name is Live. I'm the game director on No More Hell 2 and here at Tom Banner. And yeah, really excited to chat a bit more about the game, the gameplay, and everything No More Hell 2 related with you all.
So, with that in mind, I will give you a quick rundown of what to expect as we move forward for this. What we're going to do today is we're going to watch an extended gameplay clip of responders heading towards a key location, the radio station. There is some new in there, there is some previously seen gameplay in there, and we'll be talking about it afterwards with screenshots of key moments that Life and Matt really want to dig into about it. After that, we will be talking about character progression and what you can expect to see on the character progression screen. We'll be re-talking the roadmap with a re-reveal. We know it's been out there, but now we're talking about it with us. You didn't get that when it was revealed. Come on now. Look who I have. Quick reminder of the specs you can expect for your computer to have to need to run No More Men Hell 2, and then we'll have questions from the chat at the end. So if you do have questions during the stream, get those into chat. We will work at collecting them throughout as best we can and getting them to you at the end. So please, please, please hold off on your applause. Well, okay, no, you can clap during the rest of it, because let's go live first into our extended cut of our responders, Josh, Brett, and Pat at the radio station location. Moon, care to carry us over?
Ammo's dropped. Empty.
Healing! Cover!
Looking for magnum rounds.
job. Keeping comms infrastructure working is vital to our efforts here. Get the gear there and head out.
County, Clinton County, Columbia County, Crawford County.
Ammo's dry. Need more shells. Shotgun's getting low.
Fulton County, Greene County, Huntington County, Indiana County, Jefferson County, Juniata
That
County,
radio is awesome.
Lackawanna County.
Heads up!
Yeah, I'm really happy with how that.
Reloading.
You see that?
Changing maps.
Cover me! Reloading!
I'm tapped out.
Oh, that's just. I hope the last responder survived. That didn't look good for them so far. But we'll leave it up in the air on what they did, and we're here instead to actually talk about some really interesting points of that. One of the first ones, I believe, and we can head to the next one, which is about something that the community cares deeply about. Life, would
Yeah.
you care to start us off with?
Yeah, no, let's definitely talk a little bit about UI markers and objective markers on the screen. So first of all, thanks for all of you for your feedback and your thoughts on it. Definitely much appreciated. We're of course, listening to the Discord comments, YouTube comments, Steam forums, and all these good places. And definitely, it was a clear, let's say, clear message from you folks about the objective markers. And the good news first, essentially, as we speak, we're already working on making these elements customizable, which will be coming in one of our first updates after launch, where you'll be able to decide if you want these objective markers on screen at all times, never, or only when you bring up your compass.
And not just
I mean,
these objective markers, like every single piece of the UI. Yeah, will be customizable.
It's actually already working for the crosshair. I know there was feedback about that already. That will be customizable on launch already. But the objective markers and task markers that will come with an update. I think it was really, let's say, interesting from our perspective and funny and sometimes maybe even frustrating was when we read your comments was that we actually had it working in compass view only at first. That was our core intention to.
Originally, we had nothing on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you bring up your compass, that's when you want to see that kind of information, right? But what we found when we showed the game to some of you folks, some people in the community, fans, new and old, people really interested in the game, that they really struggled to understand where to go and how to navigate the map. And we think one big reason for that is that the map is pretty large and very open, and there are a lot of different ways of how to move from one point to the other, of how to get, from where you are to your next objective. And that makes it quite challenging to orientate yourself. More exciting as well, and more interesting and more fun. But yeah, it's definitely a bit more challenging with this kind of environment, and that's where these markers, of course, they give you a bit more orientation. Um,
Yeah,
as
we
you,
wanted to encourage exploration, but exploration without guidance can sometimes be confusing, and confusion isn't fun when you're constantly fighting off the hordes of the dead. So we had to make that decision. It made playing the game more enjoyable overall. But we are making all these things, as Life said, all these things are going to be customizable, and you can go full hardcore, no UI for anything if you really wanted to.
indeed. So I
Yeah,
think,
so I want to even at the UI, sorry, brought up this last screen as an example of like how vast this actually does look like when you're there and where you can see them from in that way. The world is very large.
Yeah.
I think one other aspect, of course, is the, let's say, the non-linear aspect of the mission, that you can actually decide where to go, right? So you having that point of reference of, okay, I need to go over there, but I'm seeing this interesting church along the way, or a gas station that I want to explore, and these sort of decisions you can take along the way. They yeah, I think it helps a lot more to have these markers navigate the space.
Yeah, you even though you are being told on the map, I'm sure many of you have seen the gameplay videos that were uploaded this week. On the map, you can see that you have an objective at a certain point of interest on the map, but you're not limited to just going there. You can explore every corner of the map if you really want to at any time. So having a little bit of guidance can be helpful to your survival.
And we're going to bring up to the next one then. Moon can advance us to zombies, specifically the walkers.
Yeah, I
I'm going
think
to let
that's
you two, and sorry, I was going to say, I'm going to let
Favorite.
Matt start us off, Life, if you can, about some of the stuff about it. But for me, I know in my experience playing it, I'll be doing something and I'll have completely forgotten to check behind me.
Classic.
And suddenly there's a handful, right? Like, I should know better. I should know better.
You've seen enough movies.
Right? Matt, let's talk about the walkers as a threat in the narrative and the story we're telling here and how they actually move in.
Yeah, so walkers are obviously a classic Romero zombie. They're slow, lumbering. They seem like they're not much of a threat when they're standing there by themselves, but if you let your guard down, if too many of them show up, if you get cornered, if you're indoors, they pose a pretty serious threat. And like you said, the classic example, you have your back turned. They're not very noisy. You know, they make a bit of noise if you're paying attention, but they can sneak up on you and really get the drop on you. And they might be slow, but if they surround you, you are in big trouble. And the walker represents the most common zombie that you will see in No More Room in Hell. And they are also a staple of the first game. They're most of the zombies that you interact with in the first game are also walkers. They represent someone who has been infected with the virus for a few days, a week or so. Their body has had time to slow down and atrophy, and their adrenal glands have burnt out, and they don't have the energy of let's say some more dangerous zombies that you might encounter. I'm sure we'll talk about. But the walker is, even though slow, is a very, very dangerous threat.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
you talk about the Romero inspiration, right? But for me, the classic zombie film moment where the protagonist is running away from the zombies, and of course they can run away from them, no problem. But then they're trying to get to the door, and the door doesn't open, or they turn the corner, and it's a cul-de-sac, and then suddenly the zombie is right behind them. And I think that's where the walkers fit that bill. Where I know some of you have been concerned that, oh, it seems like you can run around them pretty easily. That's true when you're in the open, but you're not going to stay in the open. Like
No.
you might explore this track off the path to find some loot, find some equipment. You turn around, and then suddenly you might have some walkers blocking the door. Of course, you have to go into interiors and into buildings, and that's where in this in the radio station where then it
That's where
really
they're really
it stops.
dangerous.
Yeah, and it really stops that you could just run around them.
Yeah, easier
I don't
said
know.
than done.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever I don't think we talked about the checkpoint ever much, I think, but
Not yet, but I'm sure it's come up in some people's gameplay.
yeah,
But
and it's one of
you were
it's
mentioning something.
the location for me personally where I always end up getting trapped because it's a building with quite a few entry points and exits for zombies to pour in as you try to complete the objective. And sooner or later, I always end up in a room, zombies at the door, no way out, and my teammates need to come to my rescue. So
That's been
um,
a gas station for me a number of times.
hmm,
Desperately trying to get the power back on, and there's just so many doors. There's so many entrances for the zombies to come in, and it's hard, especially if you're in a small group at that location. You haven't met up with everybody yet. It's hard to kind of control that environment, even for what seems like a slow, innocent threat. Uh, when they start to just pile in large numbers, it becomes very stressful.
It's been the bar location for me, honestly, because I'll go into one of the off rooms or open the door to the kitchen, and then suddenly I'll forget about them, or I'll be upstairs and I'll turn and they came up when my back was turned. Those
That's always
confined
when they get you.
spaces, they get you.
Yeah.
Something in them too, though. We did talk about there is something more than the walkers out there.
Yeah. I wonder what that
Would
could
we
be.
care to talk about the next one, which is the amount of jump scares these have given me? I blame the both of you for all of them,
They
to be clear.
they get
All of
me
them.
just as often, trust me. These guys are, relentless. So I'm sure people have seen these in some videos. Some people, on YouTube have called them red eyes, or bloody zombies. Uh, we call these our variants. They are, and I mean that in the virology term. As the virus adapts to human physiology, it starts to make the zombies more dangerous. And a variant is a, a walker zombie that, I guess we can say, embodies the essence of the phrase, remove the head or destroy the brain, because otherwise they are not going down.
exactly, and that's where I think it's a cool homage a little bit as well. It's sort of these tropes and even the first game, but um, yeah, but you really have to aim for the head, and you can only kill them if you get a bullet into their brain. Um, yeah, they're cool challenge to work around as a group, ideally, not alone.
Cool as in scary.
Yeah, it's my own experience with them. I can't the number of times I'm opened a door and there's the eyes in my face and the oh, you've all done so very well and so very horrible and so very well with these. And it's I will confirm also true than my experience. I don't know if you can in a freak out mode really aim for the head. Good luck to the rest of you out there if you're able to do that. I've just done the runaround panic when they usually come on.
Sometimes,
So
of course, that's where the gameplay, your strategy comes in, right? Where you might want to save your ammo, you might not have ammo for your weapons that you carry around, and then you just have to knock them to the ground with your melee weapon, hope that they stay on the ground long enough so you can run past them, but they will get up again.
Running away
Um,
is a very valid strategy.
yeah.
I use it all the time. I'm not a
can
coward.
confirm. Can confirm. So we're going to talk a bit more about MO types in a bit, really talk about that topic or talk about the tactics there. But we do have something about the region that we were working in when it came to the radio station and some others. A lot of the ones that we've seen in this gameplay specifically, this clip, was known as the forest region. And Life, could you tell us a little bit about the forest region and what's going on in this? What's
So
happening?
I think it was on our first live stream where we talked a little bit about the power plant map as a whole and how the notion of trying to restore electricity, trying to reboot this power plant, um, it fit really nicely with the tone of civilization of modern society as we know it collapsing. And a lot of the themes on this first map, they really speak to that. And everything we think is holding our society together. Yes, power, electricity, police, military, like all of these structures that define modern society, they're all falling apart and crumbling. And all of our regions, they have a slightly different twist and angle on this. And the forest region is interesting because it's sort of taking it one step further, where yeah, it's obviously affecting humans, affecting society, but then as a consequence, also starts to impact nature and almost corrupt nature in the process.
Yeah, you see how the impacts that the pandemic and then the zombies have had on humans, and the toll that then takes on, well, the power plant suffers a failure, and what happens when there's nobody around to deal with that problem? You get a plethora of follow-on problems, such as a forest fire. So in the case of the forest region, it is the byproduct of a forest fire that occurred because the power plant failures resulted in an electrical fire. And the electrical fire spread, and there was no one around to control this blaze, and it actually results in one of the most beautiful, unique regions in the entire map. Like this is we haven't really shown this a lot, and it's going to be, I think, a real treat for players to experience for the very first time.
And I think it shows some of the, let's say, the heroic but also failed efforts, right? Like the firefighters trying to contain it, probably in a scrambled effort, while zombies are breaking out and still trying to contain the fire and ultimately failing. So you're gonna encounter a lot of the drama of these failed efforts, the forest regions as well.
Yeah, the storytelling that goes into the environment in every corner of this map is fantastic. There's so much. Everything is meticulously and deliberately placed and tells a story that's part of a bigger picture that is the follow-on calamity after calamity of the virus, the zombies, and the failure of this power plant, and how it has had an impact on this entire region.
Yeah, snaps and claps to the environment team for
Oh,
just
big
the
time.
work on these designs.
Yeah.
Like, it's so wonderful to get to explore these areas. Yeah, and for me, it's also made it very feel like, as you say, like the immediate collapse of everything. The fires are still burning. Like this fairly just happened not too long ago.
Yeah, this is very, very recent.
Yeah, that's, I think, obviously more like a personal note, but I love the fact that with the smoke, and then the game is very dark. We try to keep the game very dark, but the smoke and the ash, that certainly adds another layer of trying to see through and trying to peek around corners, making sure you're safe as you traverse the place.
That
Cool.
atmosphere is so
Yeah.
cool when you're playing. Seeing the silhouettes of the zombies come through the fog, amazing.
Or the responders and thinking they might be zombies, or
Or that
it's
too.
just it is
Yeah.
it is so atmospheric. I could go on for about the forest region for so long, but we did say that we talked about something else as part of this. We were talking about zombie types, and that is ammunition.
Yeah, ammo.
How you can take them
Ow.
on.
Yeah, what good is a gun without some ammo?
I mean, you could throw it, right?
Makes a great club.
No, don't.
You can shove. You can shove if you don't have ammo.
You can shove. You can shove.
Use
That's
F to
exactly it.
shove.
If you don't have ammo, you have to shove. That's great. Thank you for the reminder. I need to remember to do that more often myself. I usually start screaming and running away. Well, let's talk ammo. In the original,
Right.
ammo was a big part of things, but also in a regular zombie apocalypse, ammo can be scarce in general. How are we balancing it in this
Yeah.
game? Matt, could you care to start us off for discussing ammo, and then I'd love to hear life, the mechanics of it, the direction you want to take with it, and just more details.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Life can obviously discuss more of the game design implications and mechanics therein. But thematically, we have, I believe, 6 ammo types in the game, or 5 ammo types in the game. We have pistol ammo, magnum rounds, 12 gauge shotgun shells, and heavy rifle ammunition and light rifle ammunition. Now, they encompass real life calibers, such as here in the screenshot, you can see that a box of heavy ammo is 308 Winchester. So we are acknowledging that, these are calibers that are used by these firearms, but to simplify things for a lot of people who aren't as crazy about guns as I am, I know not everybody is as weird as me, so I accept that. Uh, to make it a bit more straightforward, we simplified the naming on some of the ammo.
Yeah, I don't personally own any guns, but Matt owns enough for all of us.
I got us all covered.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I think there were maybe a bit of maybe misunderstanding with some of you folks out there as well, maybe assuming that we simplified the ammo types too much. But there's still a big difference. Like having pistol ammo doesn't mean I can use these rounds with my revolver, for example. So there's still a lot of the nature of the gun and the ammo that comes with it coming through. And I think what's really important in our game, I think we talked about before, is really to be strategic about your inventory. And this is definitely not a game where you can just grab and bring everything. You have to really reason around, okay, I have this gun here already, so I'm going to pick up the ammo for matching that gun. And a lot of the other ammo you find, you will probably want to just leave behind. Maybe call a teammate over. Hey, here's some shotgun ammo, because you don't want to waste your inventory space with it. So I think that reasoning, just like in the first game, and in some other inspirations that we've had, like that reasoning around, okay, what's the combination of ammo and weapon I want to bring, what I want to focus on, and what I leave to my teammates to loot. That's super core to the game.
Yeah. I've noticed myself, and for anyone out there who is, maybe looking forward to this as well, I have a particular playstyle I was hoping to approach, and then I also learned very quickly that if you have the wrong ammo, you cannot play that way. It
Yeah,
really does actually still matter in your inventory how to deal with it.
yeah, and I think the cool thing is that, of course, I guess most people have their favorite types, right? Your favorite weapons that you want to use, but sometimes how the loot shakes out and what you end up finding, you're sort of forced to adapt a little and use what you can find, essentially.
Yeah, and you got to share. Sharing is caring,
Yes,
right? That's a huge
sharing
part
is
of No
caring.
More Room in Hell 1. It is still a huge part of No More Room in Hell 2. Like, we complete some objectives, we get some good loot, and then we spend a few minutes just sharing items between each other. Hey, here's some ammo for you. Do you got ammo for me? Sharing medical items. Here, take a hand grenade. It is the social aspect of No More Room in Hell on full display when you are trading and sharing items with each other, just so you can all be fully prepared, because you're working together as a team, and there is no point in hogging stuff that you can't use.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much more efficient, right? Because
Yeah.
really, as a group, let's say 2 players together, it's really about what is the total inventory slots that you have as a pair of players, and making most use of that versus just grabbing a random assortment and leaving a lot of stuff behind. So they could really maximize and optimize that way.
Mm.
Really can. So thank you both for helping us bust down that extended gameplay video that we were shown. And now we get to have some real fun with the character progression. Um, we've had some questions about the account progression and character progression, or responder progression in that way, what it looks like, what it would mean. So here we have a responder ready to be outfitted, to be set up. Life, could you talk to us about skills and what the progression looks like?
Yes, so a lot of questions from you folks around progression, and we're going to dig into some of it here. There are 2 types of progression. There's your character progression, where your character becomes stronger over time, and then your account. Let's talk about character progression first. Let's say your responder died in your last mission, and you'll then get to choose from a selection of characters, select one of them. They each come with their cosmetics and a name, and most importantly, a background. So Moon here currently showing off his character, Batty, and notably the background is Kuri. So that is, you could say, what they've been doing before the zombie outbreak,
What their
before the
profession
apocalypse.
is, where it was some sort of
Yeah.
skill or expertise that they bring to the Civil Recovery Corps.
Exactly, and we have a good range of some ex-military folks, sous chef, sports people, and yeah, as you can see, courier here as one of them. This background has an impact on the first skill of your responder. So battery here is one of my favorite skills. Funnily, this is not staged. This is just how it came out of the box. The skill that gives you additional backpack capacity, so more inventory slots.
Great
which
skill.
is, yeah, super useful to bring
Mhm.
more stuff, right? We just talked about ammo types and being strategic about the inventory.
I need that skill more often.
Excellent. Yeah. Fact, yeah. Now you take your responder on the mission, you extract successfully, and the supply items that you and the entire group bring out, that contributes to the XP that your responder gains. And more XP means more levels, and every few levels, you can see at the bottom of the screen here, you get more skills. So at level 5, you get to choose a new skill. And that skill choice is not based on a skill tree or anything. It's basically imagine it like a card deck, where on your account, you have a deck of cards that represent your skills. And every time you get to choose a skill, you get 3 cards. So here we got, I think, Hitman. You open the selection again. Yeah. Yeah. So here the 3 choices are Rush, Butcher, and Headblown. So these are the 3 choices given to you, and you can choose any of these 3. And they come from the pool of cards, you could say, on your account, but they also depend on which skills you've chosen before. So just imagine it that more advanced firearm skills, they of course require you to have chosen the basic or a basic firearm skill beforehand. You can see the requirements here on the right that basically tell you when something required a skill that you selected before. Now, what's cool about it, I think, is that it really forces you, like it has enough control in it, but a lot of randomness as well. So it really forces you to improvise a bit. You can go for certain favorites, you can go for certain builds, but it really forces you to sometimes try out a play style that that's normally not your favorite, and that keeps the game, I think, much more interesting. And for me, it's certainly much more enjoyable.
And I gotta say, for me too, and I mean, I've been working on and playing No More Room in Hell since I was in high school. So I have a very like in my head a very like ingrained way that I approach playing No More Room in Hell, and when we introduced the skills when we got those working, it changed everything for me. Like all of a sudden, I had to start thinking about the game differently, and it actually made me learn a lot more about how to play and survive in No More Room in Hell than I was ever really used to. It really keeps you on your toes, and like you said, Life, it kind of the skills you choose before kind of inform some of the skills that might show up in your next selection, but there's no guarantee. So you can try your
Mhm.
best to get a certain outcome, but sometimes you're going to have no choice but to choose something that you've never tried before. And more often than not, that's actually a pretty cool and fun experience.
And then, of course, you get where everything falls into place, right? Where all your favorite skills are showing up, and you can select them, and you really feel like, oh wow, this is gonna be the responder that I take to maximum difficulty level, right? It's really cool as well.
Yeah, and good luck
Now,
surviving for that long.
yeah. um,
Sorry.
Now, where does account progression come in? Of course, you're gonna lose your responder, and all that progress is gonna be lost. Definitely, always happens. And that's where account progression helps you, because as your account progresses, you'll actually get more cards into your deck. More powerful versions of the skills that you had in your deck are being flushed in. So, because you're, let's say, account level 20, you might suddenly find the expert versions of your skills available to choose from. So you benefit from your account progression in a way that future responders will likely not guaranteed, but very likely have access to much stronger skills.
Which is so cool the first time that you get that opportunity to select an expert skill. And so, Life, you said that you said something that I think is important to highlight. You said that your account progression is based on the supply items that you collect and that you manage to bring
Mhm.
out if you make it out alive.
Character.
Sorry, for your character, and the higher level your character gets, the more account experience you get, right? And how you so I think something important to note is in order to level up your character, you collect the supplies, but it's not just your supplies that are being counted, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's the entire team.
Yes, yeah.
It is the whole team's supplies that are being counted that level up your character. So your collecting of supplies benefits not just you but everybody. And when you see another player picking up supplies, don't be like, oh, I wanted to pick that up.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're all in this together.
Work together.
Yeah.
Work
we had
together.
someone I saw it in our Slack recently someone on the team basically said that how I like to play the game is just be a loot goblin and let everyone do the fighting and I just grab supply items. And yeah, I mean, okay, maybe not the most helpful for the team, but ultimately the entire team will benefit from
Yeah.
all the supplies that they have been carrying.
I'm sure they would have appreciated you lending a hand at some point to do something else, but still helpful.
Just to
Yeah.
clarify though, so supply items that you and the entire team extract out from, finish the mission, that contributes to the character XP, and the account progression is coming from completing objectives. So that means when you are, for example, only making it halfway through the mission, and you completed a few objectives, and then your responder died, you still get some account progression from that mission.
Yeah. Obviously, making it out alive is the best thing you can hope for, but that doesn't always
Yeah.
happen. But you are never left in the dust just because you died. You're still making some progress.
Exactly.
And speaking of
There's a lot to take in, I
progress,
bet.
there was. I can imagine we're probably gonna still see some questions about this. Well, don't worry. Don't worry. We will keep answering the question. We'll keep bringing this up. And as you play with it, you will start kind of seeing how it works out from experience. I do understand seeing it is very different than experiencing it. And I can't wait for y'all to experience it soon.
Soon.
So soon.
I'm so
That's why I'm
excited.
saying this. Don't distract me in the excitement because we have more to talk to, you all. We have the roadmap to talk about.
Which is a big
The early-
deal.
Speaking of
Which is
soon,
a big
yeah.
deal. Yeah. Speaking of soon. So thank you, Moonman, for sharing your character with us. May
Thanks,
they
Moonman.
survive. May they survive. And we have the roadmap once
going to.
more. And we have some really cool things to talk about on it. So we're not going to talk about everything on the roadmap today. We did have some really interesting things to talk about of note. Now, I know what I'd love to see more of, but I'm sure these two have their stuff to see of first. We have a few things, and I believe we were going to start with, now correct me if I'm wrong, you two, we've talked about this a little bit. We're going to talk about the infection, that's in the in development column, the hospital code named map, that's in the ideas
Wonder
and
what that could
concept
be.
column. Right.
Sure.
The zombie themes, because we've seen a few things about that one, and the respawn stuff, because I know we've seen questions about that. Which would you like to start with? Infection, shall we begin?
Do it.
Because we've seen a bit about that. We've seen questions. So let's talk infection. So quick clarity for everyone again, because I've seen this question come up. Infection will not be on October 22nd's launch, correct?
Correct.
Indeed.
All right. Do we want to talk any further about infection than what we're looking at to be in development? Any things you can give us about it? How are you looking to approach it, Life? Or is that too much for me to ask?
What do you think,
I'm
Ryan?
excited about it too, y'all.
So
A little bit.
the first thing we wanted to mention, I think, is that it might have been part of some of the YouTube footage that came out recently, but we already have a form of infection actually in the game, which is when a responder dies, they turn into a very special type of zombie and attack the rest of the group, and they're almost like this emergent mini boss that suddenly appears, which is, I think, a really cool precursor of infection. And of course, infection is super important mechanic. Matt, you work on this since high school, as you were saying.
Yeah.
So definitely super eager to get the full infection system in. And yeah, it's already was in development, and we'll be able to talk about more details there really soon.
It is a quintessential part of the No More in Hell experience because we're paying our tributes and homage to the Romero films and all of our favorite zombie movies, and obviously the moment when someone gets infected and turns, always a big part of that viewing experience, and it was a big part of the first game. But we want to make sure that we get it right. The whole experience infection needs to feel very cool, and we're very excited to bring it into the game.
I think it's definitely another cool layer that will be introduced. The whole, like how do you and the group deal with the fact that someone in the group is infected? That
Yeah.
you're hiding it. Of course, everyone understands that you're going to be a ticking time bomb, essentially.
Yeah. And the factoring in the fragility of your responder and permadeath make it even more consequential. And you know what, infection was always one of the most exciting parts of anybody's experience in the first game, and I think that the additional weight of your responder, your progress, your the permadeath, I think that's going to make it even more interesting, more impactful, more dramatic when those situations do occur.
Absolutely.
And then, of course,
brings that cinematic in.
It all culminates, or not always, but can culminate in, the very,
Sometimes
iconic.
you have to make a sacrifice.
Exactly, these iconic moments where to save the group, you gotta.
You have to. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, and it's a tough decision, but infection is serious.
Especially if you make sure Moon gets out.
Get out alive, Moon.
Save Moon.
Save yourself.
There's your campaign, everybody. Save Moon. Nah, that's. Oh, what have we begun? So then let's talk about this map too a little bit. So now we probably can't get into much because it's an idea, it's a concept. But we have had some questions about is Power Plant going to be the only map? And I mean, we can confirm right here with ideas and concept. Nope, we do have another one that's we're already looking at.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't want to put life on the spot with this one either. So I'm not going to do that. I'll be very polite this time. But Matt, could you give us a little bit of a tiny, tiny, tiny glimpse of lore behind it?
I will say that I can say that Codename Hospital takes us from rural Pennsylvania, Berks County, to a more personal, suburban, small town experience with a more a personal touch, something that people will be able to relate to in a way that's similar to your favorite zombie movies, the depictions that you get from those. So we're very excited for that. It's going to build on our narrative in some cool and fun ways, and introduce a lot of cool new experiences. I don't want to say anything else there, but it's going to be a very, very neat map.
Very neat, definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
One thing I would add, not to reveal too much, I think, but with Power Plant, we talked about how it's meant to showcase the collapse of modern society and more the structure we live in, like countries, services, infrastructure. And map 2, as Matt was saying, leading us more into suburban environments and being more personal, speaking more to what it does to the personal basis we live in, communities, families, so much more personal tragedies, bit more of the tapping into the nostalgia of childhood, perhaps even. So some cool new experiences there. And as we said, and I think Matt, you alluded to it, our maps are really important in that they keep telling the story. No More in Hell 2, of course, picks off where No More in Hell 1 left off, and our future maps, they're basically keeping keeping that evolution of the narrative and the story.
Yeah, No More Room in Hell 2, as you said, is a continuation of No More Room in Hell 1 in a very direct fashion. It picks up right where it leaves off. You can think of the responders. A lot of the responders are regular people who made it out alive during this calamity and joined the CRC. They are people who survived an experience from a map in No More Room in Hell 1, made it out alive, got on that helicopter and got out alive. And they, very bravely made the decision to go back out there and try and help people. And that is where No More Room in Hell 2 brings you, is into the shoes of someone who has survived the thick of it and made the choice to put it all on the line to go back out there and help others.
Do you think Badass is part of the CSC, Matt?
I think Badass, Wally, Roger, I would assume that those folks joined the CRC for sure.
Oh, all right, y'all. I you both are very mean because I cannot keep asking those questions, and I know I can't. Well, I'll find out
Next
about
time.
it later. Next time, later stuff. I will make a note of it. But let's then talk about the zombie themes and zombie types. So we do have it on the roadmap in 2 different locations: new zombie themes and then more zombie types. Matt, you touched earlier on it about a virology change, is what it is between
Yeah.
the walkers and the bloodied zombies.
Yeah.
Care to expand a little bit on that little bit of how we're approaching then the new zombie themes within that same story
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
virus?
Yeah, absolutely. So our zombies are an expression, a macroscopic expression of the virus. Everybody knows the virus is a microscopic organism. Humans are big, and a zombie is basically a virus in the body of a human. And the virus isn't really changing the shape of their body like you see in some other games. We're not doing that kind of thing. We're not that kind of zombie experience. The zombie virus is changing them on the inside. It's changing them on a genetic level. It's changing their behavior, changing their aggression, their resilience, things like that. And someone can become infected with the virus at any time, right? You get caught off guard, you get infected. You could be a firefighter putting out that forest fire in the forest region. You have a close encounter with a zombie, you get infected. Now you are a zombie dressed like a firefighter, and that can pose a challenge to a responder who then encounters that zombie, and that could be uh, a very dangerous situation that they're not prepared for. And these are the sorts of unique twists that we're putting on our otherwise typical zombies that you see in the game, with a little bit of flair. They got some cool get-ups on, and that changes the way that you have to interact with them, engage them in combat, or try and avoid them in combat, and changing the odds of your survival.
Yeah, it's definitely for us most important to capture the Romero style zombie, and that we're not getting into tentacles and other mutations that deform the body, as Matt was saying. I think we do have. I think once you get by next week, hopefully, you will. There's some interesting, let's say, variations of the virus still that you know you can encounter. But for us, it's really most important to capture these fantasies of the zombie. I mean, like a human being in their uniform, being in their occupation that they have been doing, and then turning. And of course, you see that in a lot of different outfits and
Yeah, we have a nice
clothing.
selection there right now, but
Exactly, but of course, it gets really interesting when there's real gameplay impact. Right?
yeah,
Like the firefighter zombie, like Matt was saying, they obviously tried to put out the forest fighter, then turned, and then they're wearing their gear, they're having their helmet on, they're wearing their oxygen tank on the back, and yeah, what will that do to the gameplay?
yeah.
Makes you wonder.
And those are zombie themes. Those are our regular zombies, but they play dress up. They have a cool outfit on that impacts their gameplay and the way you interact with them.
Exactly. Cool.
Oh, Jay, we can't hear you.
Good.
Thank you for the fire.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you. Sorry. They couldn't hear me. My goodness. I was
Panic.
talking into nothingness. Panics. As I was mentioning, though, when they couldn't hear me, to everyone out there, we'll talk more of the roadmap features in time, especially as they start coming up, and we can talk more about them in detail and really show them off. So excited for those days.
It'd be very
So
cool.
excited. We're going to bring up really quickly the new responder respawn, top that in development list, because I know when I saw that, I had the question of, but it's permadeath. What
It
kind
is.
of
And those two
responder
things are not
respawn are
mutually
we looking at?
exclusive.
But they're not mutually exclusive. I thank you for bringing that up. Perfect point. What can you tell us about how they are not mutually exclusive?
Yeah, so as you were saying, this is still permadeath. So if your responder killed in action, likely turned into a zombie,
It happens.
they're gone. They're lost, and you lost your progress with them. But on the other hand, we also recognize that, you folks are probably playing with your friends maybe, and or just having a really good run and don't want to restart right away.
You want to
And
keep playing. Can't blame you
exactly.
for that.
But yeah, it was really important for us to think of ways. Okay, how can we ensure that yeah, you lost your responder, they're gone, but you don't lose your investment in your session, you could say, and that way for you to get back into it, or a way for your friends bring you back so you can help them. And that's where the new responders spawn maybe would have been a better word now that I'm thinking about it. It's not responder respawn, but new responder spawn.
Yeah, and that's the
Um,
thing. It's not new because the feature is new. It's new because you're coming in as a new responder. You will be coming in
Gotcha.
fresh, no skills, dangerous, but you are there. You can help. You can keep playing with your friends, and you can keep the good times rolling. Just try and stay alive the next time.
yeah.
Good luck, everyone, for that one. Yeah, can't wait to hear more about that. Can't wait to hear more about any of this myself. Can't wait for us to actually bring these up and talk about more as these come out for updates. With that, though, we're going to quickly cover the specs. We're not going to go over them in detail. We're just going to bring them up here for people to kind of take a look at them. But a reminder with the system requirements that you can see them on all of our channels. We have released these out you can find them on our Discord. You can find them on our Twitter X account. You can find them on our Facebook. Go check them out just to make sure of things. We want to bring it up that these are out there. You can take a look at them. And let's move into the Q&A. Thank you so much, everybody. We did collect some questions from the chat here that we could grab. Get some more in there if it is. We do have some time for that. However, one key thing before we start off this Q&A, one answer I can give you all up front here. What time will No More Room in Hell 2 be available to play at? Y'all, you can start playing No More Room Hell 2 on October 22nd at 11 a.m. ET. The doors open and the dead rise. 11 a.m. October 22nd. So thank you so much. Let's start with some questions. I have one for Life. That's a bit of a mechanical one, it seems like. Will there be a way to queue with friends? This is from Noise Ferratu.
Noise.
Noise for Roger.
Noise.
Yes. You can form a squad, the front end, like in typical contemporary multiplayer games. You can squad up and then queue up, matchmake together into a match. If you play, let's say, with two other friends, so you're a group of three, you're going to matchmake into a game with ideally 5 other people to build a full 8-player match. But I've seen that question, I think, on Discord or somewhere that people were worried that, oh, you're going to wait forever until 8 players are found. Sometimes the match will start with less players as well, but of course we going to try to make sure that you get that full 8-player experience in a match.
Glad to hear it. And then a carry on for that one from somebody else was asking. So we can just carry it from Ceoliums. And my apologies if I didn't get that right for your name. We had is it possible to do solo runs without anyone joining? And mechanically
No.
speaking,
That is not possible for early access launch. You're always going to end up in, well, ideally with 7 other people in an 8-player match, and then depending on queue time and how many people are queuing up in that moment, it might be less than that as well.
also I'm just a knock onto that. I wouldn't recommend it either. I would not. Please don't try and take on that zombies alone.
No. Some people
No.
feel brave.
No.
They're crazy.
Matt, from Grander Than You. I love these
Oh.
names. Do you need a gun to take on the variants? I guess, do you need a gun to take on the
You
variants? So
don't
we're talking about the
need
bloodied
one.
zombies.
Yeah, you don't need a gun to take on a variant, but it does make things a little easier. But guns are dangerous. They're very loud. You know, that's a risk. Are you willing to take that risk? You can kill them with a melee weapon. It's got to just, persistence and aim for the head.
Or
We-
chop limbs off.
Oh,
That also works. Dismember them,
That's-
makes your
yeah.
life a little bit easier.
And take up the legs and run away. That's
Yeah.
can also be
If all
recommended.
else fails, just chop off their legs.
oh, this was a good one. Even I think I don't even know this one for sure. I love this question. Do they have to extract though to get the supplies? So as a character for the character progression with supplies, or is it only people who extract that get the supplies? Life.
Yes. So that's the difference between the character progression, where you obviously have to make it out alive from the mission, and then all the supplies brought out by people who actually made it out contribute to your XP. So I don't think we talked about this, but if you're a player who's not making it to the helicopter to get out, you're actually going to be left behind and you're going to die as well. So you better make it to the helicopter. And then those supplies don't contribute. So it's only the supplies of those responders who make it out. That's your character XP. And the account XP is the objectives that were completed.
Yeah, in order for supplies to count for you at all, you have to have a character that survived. If your character didn't survive, then you're not getting any of those supplies. So, yeah, it is kind of a double-edged sword, but like Life said, even if you die, you're still making account progress, and you're still getting something out of it.
Great. We've got that one. Matt, you probably be the better one to know this question's answer. I absolutely loved some of the voice acting from No More Room in Hell. It was so funny. Will any of them be back? Do we have any voice actors from No More Room in Hell? One?
You have Bingo Bango is back, although he's putting on a different accent because the man is incredibly flexible and talented voice actor. And we've got Cleric, who is a fan favorite and has been in the game since the very, very first version. He is also back lending his voice as a responder. So both of them, your voice at any time could be those guys. And hopefully in the future, we'll be able to bring back even more of our old beloved voice actors.
Nice. Thank you to Crazy Carl for that question. Do we have from Lil Gashi? Is there sort of like a roster for your characters? Like, can you have 5 level 50 characters? Like, is there a roster?
So, for the access launch, there's no roster. You only have one character active at a time. But I do think it's on our roadmap, pretty sure. We put it there. That we have definite plans to get to that idea of a roster where you can choose which responder do you bring. I think everyone immediately thinks about you have that, one responder that you always play with your friend group, right? And you don't want to go into a risky match with randos with that responder. So you have a secondary slot, right, to use from. So that's definitely early concept of work ongoing on that.
I have a fun question for this. I have another one I'm going to answer after this one. That's great. But can you bite the zombies back to cure them? Real question. This is from Santi, which I think I recognize you from the Discord too, but that's the Santi Twitch in the Twitch chat.
I love it. I'm gonna go
Interesting.
rewrite canon real quick.
This is for both of you. What do you think? Can you bite the zombies back to
Rewrite
cure
the
them?
lore.
Yeah, I'm rewriting all the lore to work that in. I love it.
We're joking about making changes live on stream, right? So
Yeah,
there you
now
go.
we're doing it.
No.
That is very creative. I like that.
That is. One that I just noticed actually looking over too was my chair be a pre-order bonus. I'm sorry, y'all. There's only one kind of these. My deepest apologies.
Maybe first
It's not a
responder
pre-order.
to reach level 50. That's your chair, Jay. I didn't actually say that.
We'll talk.
Except you giving away that Harrier jet.
Cut that out.
Oh boy. Let's see here. We have another one about will there be preload available? This is Rampart Main 09. You can correct me if I'm wrong here of asking this. This might be more of a kind of a technical kind of question. Are you meaning to preload the game at time of launch? I'm guessing that's what it means.
That is a very good
Is it just
question, and we should get that info out there.
All right, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, we'll take a look at that behind the scenes and we'll get back to y'all, all right? Gonna try. Y'all are keeping the chat moving. I thought I could grab all these. My goodness. Keep asking them, though, and if we don't get answered to them in this stream, keep asking. We'll get them on the side, all right? All right, I got you. What if you survive, but if the guy that took all the supplies doesn't make it? Well, I think we already answered that one.
Yeah.
That's why protect your team.
That's why teamwork is important. Because if that person dies, it's kind of unfortunate.
All right, I'm probably gonna ask one more because we should probably wrap and let them get back to their day because we do have early access launching on October 22nd. I don't know if you all know that yet.
Oh no.
You all know that, right? Like we all are aware of that here. It's coming up.
We're coming out so soon.
Let's grab one more. Are there runners at the launch of EA?
Yes. I don't know why you would wish for such a terrible, dangerous thing. But yes.
They were part of some of our trailers, actually.
That is true. Yeah, we show them in some of the trailers. They can be seen in some of the gameplay footage that went up on YouTube this week. If we haven't been clear, the runners are there. So in No More Room in Hell 1, we had runners. They're the people who are freshly infected. That's why they're still running. Their bodies are fresh, nimble, agile. Their adrenal glands are going at full blast. They're full of rage, very dangerous. And then they slow down and turn into walkers. And then they decay more, and they become our shamblers, or some people have called them shriekers or screamers. I've heard a couple different names on YouTube, but yeah, our zombies are just the same person decaying over a period of time. That's how our zombies work.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. Runners are not the best.
For a runners only mode, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are crazy.
So I'm going to cut the Q&A here before I come to blows with any of these about runners, because no. Nah, I wouldn't. They're terrifying, y'all. Thank you so much, Life and Matt, for taking time out of your day to be here with me, with all of us on the stream to go over some really key things to know about ahead of our early access launch. Remember, October 22nd, 11 a.m. ET. Don't forget that part. And
8 a.m. Pacific, I believe.
8 a.m. Pacific. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. It'd be a great time, everybody. If you have not yet, follow us on Twitter and Facebook to get the details. Sign up for our newsletter at nomoreroomandhell2.com, our website. Join our Discord. You can find us at No More Hell 2. You can also see our invite in the chat list, invite/NMRIH. Come talk to us there. And if you haven't wishlisted yet on Epic and Steam, please do so. We're launching into early access. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep
Super
saying that. It's
exciting.
great news. It's super exciting, everybody.
Happening.
It's super exciting. Thank you again so much, you two. Oh, I actually had one last question on our goodbyes. I'd love to hear from you. It has nothing to do with the game, but everything to do with the season we are in.
Oh,
Whoa.
of course.
Just the
Favorite
season?
Halloween candy.
Favorite Halloween candy? Okay, I'm
Favorite
gonna
Halloween
make so many
candy.
people angry, and I'm gonna say candy corn. I actually like candy corn. I think all the candy corn that gets made in the world is like just for me because I'm the one person that actually eats it.
I'm really feeling put on the spot here because I'm a European, so Halloween is not. I did not grow up with Halloween, and I have no idea. I have no idea what my favorite Halloween candy is. I guess Bounty. I
Oh.
guess coconuts.
Oh, that's a good choice. Bounty
That is a
bars are
solid
great.
choice.
I love coconut. Coconut cannot go wrong.
Solid choice. Everybody, make fun of Matt for
They
the candy
are.
corn
I
stuff
see
in
it
chat.
in Discord. It's happening.
We'll talk to you all later and let us know your favorite candy ready for No More Room in Hell 2's early access launch, October 22nd, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll catch you all there. See you in Berks County. Have a nice day
Indeed.
and survive.
Till later.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye bye.